Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Skulk. No camera today. Maybe not even for the series. Maybe. But it's only the only reason why now is because it's too dark here right now. I don't have any backlights to shine on my face, so yeah. It's mainly just my voice that you're hearing on the story, so no need for a face this time. Well, let's continue. Let's see, you. Here we go. Alright, we were gonna answer questions he has. It will change the way some dialogue is displayed. Oh, yeah. As well as influence your internal thoughts. So everything we're choosing here that describes to them who we are is who our character is actually going to be in his own dialogue. Well, this first one is self-explanatory. Are you a boy or a girl? Please just humor me and play along for now. Because he can see you. It's just for the records. He would definitely just jot it down. This is just for us to have the chance. And a good looking one at that. Starting with an obvious, I guess. A large corporation wants to hire you. Do you prefer a leading role or not? An Endymion or a Connard, you could say. Now the thing is, following someone is not bad. Just make sure you have a clear mind and not just following blindly. You should know what you're getting into. A leader, you should mentally be sound and ready to take on the role as a leader, because those that want to follow you, you better be, as best you can, leading them in the right direction. I want to be a leader. I don't mind helping people, but I'd rather lead. I did take you for a leader after all. A savior shouldn't be anything but. My leadership is so restricting. You don't have true freedom as a leader. Anyway, moving on. Actually, well, kind of. No, actually, he's right. If you're leading someone, you're following a certain guideline that you set to yourself, and everyone else is somewhat following it. But everyone else that's following has their own, can take their own heart into it. Like your guideline, you're following you, you're a leader, but it's, to them, they can either follow to the letter, or follow because they like the concept, the idea, and then have their own ideas in the mix. And then eventually they can become a leader. That's pretty much what he was meaning. And so it actually kind of rings true. Let's see here. Do you consider yourself skeptical, or are you an easily trusting person? I think I know the answer to that one. I trust easily. Apparently, my parents tell me that I trust too easily. Just like I thought. I mean, you came with us after all. Not that I'm calling you gullible. Take it as a compliment, man. Being trustworthy is a positive trait. Better than pushing everyone away. Right. You're about to go to war. Would you prefer to attack or defend? Oh, now we're digging a little deeper. Remember, there are no wrong answers. We are simply defining you on paper. To that end, what position do you prefer? I prefer to defend. Attacking is not like you're going out there just because. You're doing it for a purpose. You are going to go out on the battlefield, whether it be literal or taking on the initiative. If, let's say, you're in a company, are you gonna push your product or your thing out and keep doing that, or are you gonna hold your ground? And it's mainly depending situational. I really don't know how a situation I can bring up right now, but I prefer to hold my ground and help defend. Well, you know what they say. Something about a good defense. Not what I would pick, though. But look what I do for a living. Connor, don't judge people's outlooks. That's only a recipe for disaster. Now, allowing us to move on. Sometimes I read the phrase how I think it would have flown in my mind, but I stumble and read the wrong way how they played it. Because would you take one life to save many? That's kind of what we do on every day. Do you think you'd be able to do it? Take a life for the greater good? Now this question, I would like to know what you guys would do. This one's very heavy, and it all depends, because they're not bad. None of them are bad. The not killer, you want to be peaceful. You want to do things as best you can without any deaths. Though in the circumstance, unless you have restrictions, like you have the ability to nullify the one that is killing others, or bringing other people to a false belief or anything, you have to be able to do that. Killing one for the greater good of many. Others that see you as the killer will see that you take a life, but only those that see, it all depends on how people see the subject of how you do things. This is being not a killer is definitely a more peaceful sight that people see on you. But if you take down one, so that everyone else would be safe, depending on if that one is literally that bad, whether by word or by physical. Both have their roles. My role, I don't think I can do the killing, but it's not like I can't. This is just what I prefer. I understand both roles. I just prefer not to kill. Really? And you're supposed to be our savior? Sorry for calling its more assumptive nature. You can resolve issues without death. None of the fun ones, at least. Alright. We're almost done, I promise. Now, Endymion, he seems like a really nice guy. Connor, he's not a bad guy, but he likes he became an assassin because he likes the more... Actually, I don't really know what fully. I think he has his heart in a good place, but he likes the thought of taking out someone, I guess. Endymion, he plays his role because he knows what the good outcome can become of it. He has a good heart. He understands both sides. He's just playing this role because it's probably what he's good at or what he feels he can do. But I don't know him fully because I've only got so far in the story. As I mentioned before, I went back so I can record. I started anew so I can record and share it with you guys. It's a really good story as far as I've gotten, and I don't think it's gonna disappoint me. I really hope not. But let's not think that way. Let's continue on with the goodness and feeling of our hearts. You're running late to your destination. The paths before you are as follows. There's a short but dangerous route, and a long but much safer route. If you take the long route, you may be late, but the short route may lead to your death. What route do you take? Long and safe sounds good, because what's the point of getting there faster? I mean, it's good to be fast and get there on time or early, but if it's dangerous, you could die and then not even be there at all. If you're alive, you can at least be there and do something, even if you're a little late. Hopefully it's not that urgent, but at least you'll be alive and not have a chance of dying, and you'll be in good enough condition to help. That's why I prefer this one. I understand that things can be urgent, but if you rush through a dangerous situation, you might not even be there at all. At least one way you'll actually have a chance to be there on time, but you'll still be there. You mean kind of like what we're doing now? This is incredibly boring, though. I'd love for something eventful to happen. And put the Savior at risk? Why would that be a good decision to make? I didn't say it would be a good decision. I was saying it would be fun, be a fun one. Connor winks at me. I shrug it off. Just one more question, I promise. Besides, we're almost at town. About time. Do you prefer the company of others, or do you prefer to be alone? Everyone likes to have some alone time, but it's always nice. For me, I like to have some people around. I'm not a big people person. The more people there are, the more my mind and my feeling of becoming just one of the crowd, just meshing in, become obsolete. It kind of cripples me in that aspect. I like being around people, and especially if we're all interested in the same subject, and we're talking all around. But the more people there are, you can just. This is just my feeling saying this. I can just be in a corner and no one would even know. That's just how my mind goes. But if I'm alone, for me, it breaks me down. I'd like to have someone to talk to at least. I like having people around. It's just the preference. I like having people around. But I do like my alone time, just sometimes. I let them know that I like the company of others. Glad to hear it. I was starting to think maybe you hated us. I know Endymion can get on people's nerves. That would be pretty lame. After all the trouble we went through. Conrad. I apologize for his words. Etiquette was not in his curriculum. However, fortunately, we have concluded. And not a moment too soon either. The town is just a few moments ahead. I know we can't take many detours, but we need to hand in these papers. We'll make a quick stop, and that's it. We should probably check our mail too. That's true. Kaylin may have written. Endymion looks at me and sighs loudly. I guess you're in luck, Savior. You'll get to see the Wayfarer's Tavern. It's the hottest place to be on Terra. He's joking, of course. We just stay there sometimes, and we own one of their postal boxes. They serve drinks, too. Conrad likes that. But really, it's an immigration office. They just needed to spice it up a bit. True. Nobody likes mail and immigration, but everyone in there and their mom loves drinking. I like drinking water. If you look ahead, you can see it. He points ahead, and I see he's right. A small town is coming into view. A bar that doubles as an immigration office? It sounds weird, but so does everything as of late. At least we can take care of two matters at once. Handing my papers and checking their mail, then maybe, just maybe, I can meet their king. He would definitely have the answers I seek. Back on Earth. Deep in the night of Clance's death. Now, I'm going to do my best at voices, but if it doesn't fit right, I apologize and I might just do my normal voice. I must admit, it seems rather suspicious, but these midnight deaths, I never believed in them to begin with. No, hold on. Cat wants out. I knew he should have gotten out. I was going to be here for an hour. Or rather, that they were supernatural. The media loves to romanticize things. I'm sure many people die at midnight daily. But to affect one of my own idols, mere days before the debut of our tour? No, it has to be a coincidence. I'm sure. I don't know, Singe. Sir. Singe is fine. We're closer than that, Rocker. Alright. Social media exploded at Clance's death. Good luck playing off as a hoax. The body bag was even on national television. I'm not sure how we'll spin this exactly, but fans are starting to fill in the cracks. There's talk of it being a crazy fan. The works of a stalker, they say. It can't be. I've seen stalkers before. They're much more erratic, not calculated. This has the working of a serial killer. If it was a murder at all, a stalker wants to possess, not destroy. So their end goal was Clance's murder? Absolutely not. That's self-centered. We must presume the killer will still act. A serial killer doesn't just stop. I had hopes this was an isolated incident, but the MO matches the midnight deaths, right down to the method of a murder. It seems their goals became more grandiose. I don't know how to word that. If they aren't done, then who's next? That's what chills me the most. A larger target than a pop idol? What's wrong? I talked to Jade earlier about the deaths. She mentioned they were all like suicides. At least half of them looked that way. There was another half that was murder. No confession there. Gunshots and all. I was told that Clance's death died of asphyxiation, but there was no sign of a struggle. Do you mean? Absolutely not. There was no evidence left behind. If he took his own life, there would be. You can't kill yourself and clean up. I'm very certain Clance was murdered, but it's these midnight deaths I doubt. Are we facing a serial killer? Or is the media just making things up? These could be completely isolated deaths. The time of deaths being the same isn't that odd. I guess that's true. But it's not just that. It's time of deaths and method of death. A suicide with no evidence isn't suicide. So there are two groups then? The mysterious suicides and murders? But I'm willing to bet that they're both murders. You seem to have figured out a lot. I thought they'd keep Clance under wraps. I really think I didn't give him the correct voice. Sorry, Rocker. I had to pull a lot of strings, but I'm glad you figured it out, Rocker. There aren't two groups. There's only one. This is assuming one major thing, of course, that we're dealing with a single culprit, and these aren't isolated in nature. So a murder covered up as a suicide, huh? I'll probably just give him my voice. Why not? I really don't know what... I can kind of imagine a voice to give him, but I just don't know if I have the voice to pull it off. Some people have really good voices for certain people, but then not so much for another. I have more of a deeper voice, so I listen to myself in the recordings and I keep hearing just my voice with a little like touch to it. Unless it feels like I add an accent, then it does feel a little different. Sound a little different. Not very well either, it would seem. If they wanted it to look like a suicide, why would they take the weapon with them? If Clance was found with a rope around him, none of us would be doubting this at all. But this was the same throughout all cases. I believe the police was jumping the gun. There's nothing that labels these suicides, especially in light of one major fact. All the victims were mentally fit. If we're dealing with the killer here, there's no way they're trying to trick us. By the way, just to clarify what he means, if you didn't know, mentally fit. They were not in any way showing that they were having a bad life, a struggle in life. insane in the term, not trying to down people, just meaning people that had a hard life or their mind is just not what people call on the normal. Like their mind is uneasy. It's hard for them. So that's what it means, is that their minds were fit. Nothing was going on in their heads that make them feel this way. They want us to know these aren't suicides. It's the police that are in the wrong. Or perhaps they were being manipulated. Thinking about this gives me a headache. Man, I wish I was in bed right now. I think that's a better voice for him. It's just a light touch to my voice, just a light alternation. I'm sorry for robbing you of sleep. I just didn't want to handle this alone. It's not a problem. Jade and Jazz are outside as well. I'll stay as long as you need. Would you mind letting Jade in? We need to discuss pressing matters. We'll need to make a statement tomorrow. Absolutely. And Daz is over here. Daz is here, he said. Please stay with her in the limo. And tell her what I plan to do with her. Roger. Moments pass. And I take a drink. I can't do her voice very well, a voice for her very well, so bear with me. Hello again, Singe. I feel like it's been a while. Too long, I'm afraid. And not under the circumstances I prefer. Indeed. I always felt bad for Clance. How people are blaming him for the murders. Just because the deaths started when we... Sorry, I shouldn't get into superstition. I just never would have guessed. Clance's death would be what absolved him. The people can't blame a victim, I mean. Indeed. And how do you think I feel? I didn't buy into these midnight deaths. I left him vulnerable. Open, even. I'm used to the media making up trends, even in completely unrelated things. I should have been more cautious about this. I should have assigned more guards to him. Perhaps this could have been avoided. I don't think guards would have helped, sir. Besides, have you worked on your alibi? Alibi? You were the last person to see him alive, and you two had heated argument as well. You should drop the line of that line of thought, Jade. Veiled accusations only hurt you in the end. The media will want to know. It's not me. That is what you asked me here for, right? So we can decide what to tell the press? I suppose you're right. That and the changes we'll need to make. The tour must go on as planned. The amount of refunds people will want. It makes me scared just thinking about it. Now, just to let you know, he's not just thinking about the money. If you paid a lot of money to see something, and then something drastic happened, whether you believe it or not, you paid a lot of money to go to this. And he's just trying to think, this is a very bad and big incident or an event that happened. And he's not just brushing it aside. I'll read on so you can get what the story has to say. But just telling you about the situation, you have to also think about the group. This is a whole group of people. One of them died. And the show must go on in some ways to still give to the people at least something of what they paid for. Not saying the people are greedy and they are demanding a show, but they paid for something, and they still want to deliver. You don't have to just pause and mourn and not deliver anything. You can mourn on the inside, I'm not trying to sound cold. It's literally how some things just go. Especially when you're doing this kind of situation, a tour or business or something. The whole business can't just go on hold because someone left or died or something happened. You have to do your best to keep things going for everyone that's involved. Everyone there, Rocker, Daz, and everyone else in the band, in the band the tour, their lives are on it too. They might not be dead or gone, but their lives and their jobs, this whole situation is infecting all of them. So it's pretty much. I hope I explained it well enough. If not, I hope that you can noodle things out through the rest of the story. I tried to help clarify things if those of you don't understand. That is separate. That's a separate beast entirely. But first, about how we address the death. I think you need to be blunt. You shouldn't be anything less than honest. Tell them you don't know what happened. We're on the same page as everyone else. Let them know we're cooperating with the police. It's simple. It's important they feel in sync with us. We must not appear to hide facts from them. We'll make things public as the police does. You're right. There isn't much else we can do. I added a few words. Dang it! That's how my mind works. But we still need to talk about the tour. Indeed. And this is where we have control. I know what you plan to do with Daz. Roger told me as we crossed paths just now. We shouldn't change topic just yet, though. Remember the two groups of deaths? The group of murders and of suicides? I figured out something shocking tonight. The culprit of the group of murders? They were found. A week ago, Singe. What? And here's what gets more bizarre. They have a watertight alibi. It excuses them fully from the suicides. They were a copycat killer. And they've admitted this openly. The true culprit is still at large. I see. But the police are still on the wrong. The suicides are not suicides at all. At least conflicting MOs aren't an issue. We only have to focus on the suicides now. Does this make it easier on us? Unfortunately not. There's just too much missing here. No suicide note? No evidence? Along with the victims being mentally fit? It was a suicide. If it was a suicide, there would be evidence at the crime scene. Instead, we have almost nothing at all. The true culprit must be an expert. They can tamper with the crime scenes. They can leave no shred of evidence behind. Just who could it be? It's likely a cop. Someone who's been trained in these things. It's possible. I have a theory, though. Something a little more bizarre than most. I don't have time for quantum mechanics. There has to be a logical reason for this. The murders started as our tour arrived. The killer must have a police background. Jade? Yeah? I keep saying yeah instead of yes. Bring me Clance's security guard. I'll need to speak with him immediately. You mean? Yes. At this point, it's very logical. Our own hired guard could be the killer. Meanwhile, in the privacy of the limo. Hey, Daz. Sorry. Hey, Daz. She's shocked back into coherence. She's shocked back into coherence. Hold on, Ricky. Sorry, I was a world away there. That's fine. I mean, given what happened and all. Part of me is worried, and part of me hates that I am. I'm not worried about worried for Clance though, and not even for those around him. I care more about our own careers. Who will you play guitar for? Who will I sing and dance alongside? Forgive my foolishness. I should never have said that wasn't the right tone. Forgive my foolishness. I should never have said that. That's the better tone. I was saying it in the wrong tone, and whoops. There's no need to apologize. I thought the same thing. Death is obsolete. It can't be changed. What happens to us, however, well, it's malleable. I don't know how to word that. It's malleable. Like I mentioned, because I did read ahead. I did, yeah. So, as he said, death is absolute. Absolute. Yeah, absolute. You can't change that. You mourn over it, but you can't change what's actually in front of you. Worry is normal. Perhaps it's also partially denial. One of the steps we go through in grief. Yeah, we can justify that. Yeah, justify it that way. I'm not going to try to give her a voice. I don't have many feminines and feministic types of voice, and I don't know what kind of voice she'd have. She seems like she'd have a certain voice in my mind, but that's considered stereotypical in the look to voice. She'd have just a beautiful feminine voice, and I can't pull that off, so I can't do that for you. Yeah, we can just justify it that way. So, sorry, some people I just won't have voices for. But at that end of today, I'm scared. I've never seen Singe show any emotion. Idols come and go in this business. He just adapts without any hesitation. I don't want us to be like that. Emotion is what makes us truly alive. True that. We are personality. A personality is emotion. What you feel and want to act on certain situations. I bet they're talking about the tour. They'd probably just address the press and then forget that Clance even existed. I want to feel sad, but can't. Is there something wrong with me? Am I becoming like Singe and Jade? They're in the fast-paced business, Daz. They need to roll with the punches like this. You and I have time to adapt, but they'll have to be in the spotlight pronto. Also, they were talking about the tour. I know what's going to happen to us. That's why I'm not as worried anymore. Maybe if I tell you, you'll understand. Then maybe you can put this worry aside too. Really? Yeah. Singe is engaging in damage control. He needs to minimize any refund requests. So the tour's opening night will so the tour's opening night will change. That's the way it's phrased. Instead, it'll be vigil for Clance. It'll be a vigil for Clance. Something all of his fans would attend. He's definitely playing for their grief. To their grief. See, I can't seem to word things in the way that it's written. Not all the time. But it's a good way to retain the audience. That's extremely cold. It's extremely Singe, isn't it? The show must go on, he said. I suppose. So, a vigil then? I'm assuming from what, since I don't even know what vigil meant, I'm assuming that vigil means like a tribute to someone or to something. I'm guessing to someone in this. It's going to be someone in this situation. So they're doing the tour in remembrance of plants. So what's going to happen here? There. That's the word. Have you heard the story of Japan's birth? Excuse me? Is that even relevant right now? If you listen, I'd like to think so. Very well. Before the universe, there was nothing. A huddled mass of chaos, in total stillness. It lay there forever, not moving an inch. Though one day, it flinched. It started to move like a cloud. And soon after that, like a hurricane, it moved and moved. Some chaos rose to the top. The light. This created heaven, or Takamagahari. Gahara. But some of the chaos was dark in nature. It wasn't worthy of ascending to heaven. It stayed at the bottom, becoming earth. A kami was born between the light and dark. A god known as Amino Menakanushi. Hopefully I'm wording this properly. Or All-Father of the originating hub. I'm sorry. I have to stop you there. I don't buy into this religion stuff. Who said anything about religion? I'm merely spouting myth. Are those not one and the same? Religions are all myth. It all depends. I believe that religion is mainly a belief. Whether it happened, whether it started back then and people just carry on with the belief from then, or alterations to it as time went on, or a recent one. Mainly, a religion is a group of people that are following one or a few groups of ideas from someone and praise it or something. Just following it to the letter or whatever religion actually stands for. It just seems like it's a following. A religion seems like it's just a following, but has a title to it. So, mainly, a religion is a belief. And there are many religions in this world, and that means there's that many beliefs. And that many people, and each religion has its own group of people that are following it. So, yeah. Whether it be out of gods and whatnot, or just a belief that, like, there's Buddhism, or some others out there, that just want to see the world at peace. I'm not in a religion, but I believe in peace. I know that there can't be peace if there's no war or conflict, so I know it exists, but it's nice to spread it. Give comfort to those that would like to seek it. Anyways, carry on. Please allow me to please allow me to continue. I think I'm speaking a little too faster than I'm supposed to. A little too fast. Words! A large rainbow connected heaven to earth. It acted as a bridge between worlds. Amino Okihashi, it was called. Or Floating Bridge of Heaven. Two more gods came into being. Yawning. It's late. Two more gods came into being at this point. Their names were Izanagi, and Izanami. Earth was still a puddled mass of nothing. Izanagi and Izanami stood on the bridge. They looked down at this nothing in awe. Why? Izanagi was gifted to a spear of from Menakanashi. That he thrusted this spear into the dark puddle. Upon pulling it out, it started dripping. These drops stayed on the surface. They formed the island of Japan. The first landmass on Earth was born. They were tasked with ascending the bridge. They went down and finished creating Earth. Izanagi engaged in a purification ritual. He washed away all his impure aspects, and he used them to aid in the creation. Our sun and moon, created by the impurities of his eyes, and the storms were born from that of his nose. So if you have rain, it's because his nose is dripping. And one of his eyes is very bright and fiery, with passion or anger, and the other eye is just a glass reflection. All of his impurities were used. After that, we were born, with a world to call our own. That's awfully convenient. We're created from impure aspects of God. Sounds like a tragedy if you ask me. How does this relate to our tour, or us? I'm about to get to that. Singe is altering the entire tour. It will be a retelling of the story. The set list will symbolize this creation, and souls will be offered to heaven through that rainbow bridge, of course. Not just Clance's, but all the victims. Elaborate. I didn't think Singe would do that much. Now I feel bad for assuming what I did. It's okay. You didn't know. So, will we perform covers then? Of Clance's hits? And other relevant songs? You got it. But then you come in. The tour will end with a special surprise. A special surprise? Yes, an announcement from you. You'll be taking over the world tour. You'll be headlining Daz. You'll perform to a sold-out crowd. It'll be your turn in the spotlight. You'll finally become something more. Well, it's not. It could sound degrading, but in this term, depending on how someone takes it, but in the term, I don't know why I worded it like that. That sounded like a big old pile of mush right there. What I said. What he's meaning is, instead of just being someone's a voice on the side of the main singer or tour head or whatever you call him, the one that created the group, then she will be the main of the group. So instead of just being on the side, part of the group, she'll be the leader then. Words aren't always my strong suit. Let's just say that. Something more, huh? Yeah. We'll be saying goodbye to Clance and welcoming a new idol into the world. I suppose I should be honored. I will serve as your guitarist. You have my complete loyalty, Daz. Thanks. But I'm not sure about Shock. Him and Clance are childhood friends. He may take this harder than any of us. Right. Well, if you'll excuse me. This is overwhelming. I need fresh air. Of course. I guess I should join her. It's getting stuffy in here. A shuffling sound from the front seat. Bro is dead? Would you like to save? Yeah. Now, the thing is, I would normally have these this video being a little longer. But because this took so long between save states, I started this at a certain point, and now looking at the time, it's almost an hour. It's 40 minutes, so I'll stop it here. But we'll continue on, of course. This story has a lot left in it, and I don't even think I was even near the ending. I definitely think I wasn't near the ending. So thank you guys for joining me in this one, in this episode, and I'm looking forward to seeing you more. So thank you guys for stopping by, and until I see you guys again, have a great day, everyone.